Lisa, do you want to share your screen, or are you just going to talk as you?
No, I was just going to talk as me if that's all right.
That's
But it's
great.
really weird.
No, fine. You're just great. No, that's great. You did a great job at iOS. Elysium was at IOSC and she had to talk about her career. And I'll save her blushes, but she did a really top dollar job.
Oh, you're lovely. Can you hear me
Anyway,
okay down there?
so
Yeah.
Lisa is the deputy SOS rep. It's really, and both this and Lisa is very keen that she's involved in the work we do because of the responsibility that they have when there's a casualty, at which point I'm going to shut up.
This is really weird because I can see obviously your screen in Southampton and I can see my big fat face on the screen in front of everybody. So it's really weird.
It's all a bit weird, don't worry. We're getting through it.
So yeah, thank you, Mark, for inviting me here today. I really do appreciate it. I only have a couple of words to say. Obviously, you gave me a call yesterday and asked if I could say a few words on behalf of the SOSUP's view on future fuels here in the UK. And I think, putting it bluntly and simply, future fuels doesn't really change the way that we as the SOSUP team will respond to anything in the UK. As has already been mentioned in some previously great presentations today, and I've definitely learned a lot myself, the risk that has changed with future fuels is more that as Andrew actually put it quite well, it's more a H&S response more than oil spill response in what we're looking at moving forward. But we are already transporting these chemicals quite widely around the UK in their sort of more typical form as cargo, as has already been mentioned. So we should already be prepared to deal with significant chemical spills, not just here in the UK, but around the world. I think it's just now raising that awareness to stakeholders that maybe are not so aware that they are already carried in cargo, and that the risk moving forward is that these chemicals will just be more prevalent in our maritime environment. And I think for us, it's, and as has already been said, it's the safety element that comes with this. So things like exclusion zones that have already been mentioned, responder awareness, the communication between stakeholders, and making sure that people are very clear on what fuel source, excuse me, and or propulsion source these vessels now have. And I think for us in the UK, it's definitely about educating the likes of our Coast Guard to make sure that they are aware of the questioning when they question vessels that have broken down. Are we very clear on the word bunkers these days? It's not just oil, it's maybe hybrid sources moving forward. And we just need to be very clear on what these fuel sources are that these vessels have who may be in danger, and that we then communicate that very effectively and clearly to responders who may be going out to said vessels, like search and rescue helicopters, lifeboats, oil spill or chemical responders, salvors, etc. Because it is a risk, and we're not likely to send anyone into a chemical or H&S type scenario lightly. And it does mean that we have to get better at our communication, and we have to be clearer on what these risks are moving forward. A lot of people, and I think maybe Will's going to speak after me or at some point. From a harbour master perspective, a lot of people look at the SOSUP here in the UK and go, "Oh, you can tell the harbour masters what to do, and you're going to, tell them to take a vessel that's in distress in." And I think these chemical spills and these future fuels are probably good examples of where we might not be so inclined to do that, because, as has already been mentioned in presentations, lots of ports and harbours are located within densely populated areas or near critical national infrastructure, and we're not likely to want to go and increase that risk and bring vessels closer towards the public or this infrastructure that we have here in the UK. So it's maybe a good examples moving forward of where we might not be so inclined to instruct a harbour master so quickly to take a vessel, and that we might have to leave vessels out at sea in a safer place of refuge to respond to, rather than bring them straight in alongside, as we would typically maybe want to do in more oil spill related scenarios. So I think really for us here, we have a national contingency plan in the UK. We should and are prepared to deal with, I like to say every eventuality, but every incident is different. We have a system that works here. We just need to be more aware of the risks when it comes to dealing with these types of fuels moving forward. But like I say, we're already carrying them as cargo in great volumes around the UK and around the world every single day, and we could be having an incident involving any of these chemicals at any time. So we should already be aware of it. We should already be ready to respond. I think here in the UK we are, but I think probably the gap that we have, being open and honest, is maybe not everyone is aware of the risks. I think the cargo bit gets missed, and now everyone's talking about future fuels where ammonia and hydrogen and nuclear, etc. These are big words that people get very scared about, and they're starting to think, oh, that hasn't existed before, but it does exist. We just need to now educate and raise awareness, and forums like this are really valuable in providing that education to everybody, including myself, to take this forward. And I suppose really just a question for the room, and I'm not quite sure who the audience is, but are anybody, or is anybody running big exercises involving H&S and these types, and whether it's as cargo or as future fuels? And if they are, and they're running it here in the UK or even internationally, then I certainly would be interested in that. And I know some of my colleagues in the Maritime and Coastal Agency, who I know are present in the room today, would also be interested in that. But it's been short and sweet from me, Mark. I'm sorry.
No, that's super cool. That is super cool. I didn't want too much bullshit, and I didn't. It's great you've got no slides, and I didn't think I'd get any bullshit, so I didn't get any bullshit. What is nice is you kept our feet firmly on the ground. But actually, what part of the goal of the group is to actually work through lots of different scenarios, and to actually spend a couple of days somewhere, just locked in a hotel, just doing exercises on an anonymous coastline in an anonymous country, so nobody gets put out that we're trashing half the town. But actually, and we just keep our feet on the ground with this, and we do model it through. So Lisa, thanks very much. I'm going to cut you off and move straight to William Barker, who's a harbour master. But thank you, Lisa, and stay on the line.